Hello and welcome to today's Your Daily 5. I'm Tom Bowley, Chief Market Strategist at earningsbeats.com, and I'm excited to join you on this Friday, January 7th. Happy New Year to everyone. Hopefully your year's gotten off to a great start. And I'm looking forward to doing these Your Daily 5s throughout 2022. Before we get started and I give you my 5 charts for today, I do want to make everyone aware that if you go over to earningsbeats.com, and right near the top of the page, you'll see this Market Vision 2022 link. You click on that. Got a great event coming up Saturday morning, starting at 8:45 a.m. Eastern. Going to have Grayson Rose, Dave Keller, and Bill Shelby, all from StockCharts.com, joining me for this year's event. This is our 3rd annual event. We're all going to just give some great educational information, also some predictions for the year ahead. If you scroll down, you'll see last year for Market Vision 2021, we held it on Saturday, December 19th, so right before the end of the year. And I actually predicted the S&P 500 would close December of 2021 at 4750. The actual close was 4766. I was calling for a 1,000-point rise, so I was pretty close on that one. I think 2022 is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be a wild year, a lot of volatility, a lot of back and forth action, a lot of rotation, a lot of changed leadership throughout the year. I think it's going to be a very difficult year trading because of the volatility and the significant moves back and forth. But I'll be going through all of that and stating my case and why I think it's going to be like that on Saturday. If you scroll down, you'll see the event and the various sessions. So it's going to start at 8:45 Eastern. We will not wrap up until I close the session out with a 1-hour session starting at noon Eastern. So we'll finish at about 1 o'clock. If you can't make it, not a problem. We record these sessions and we'll make sure we get a copy of the recording out to you. It is a benefit of being an earningsbeats.com member. So we are making it a members only event. But if you go to our home page, you'll see that we actually have a no cost trial. So if you start a 30-day free trial, you qualify and can come to this Market Vision event on Saturday at no cost. And we'll make sure you get room instructions and so forth. So all you have to do is click on this to start your no cost trial. We'd love to have you. All right, so let's move on to the charts. 5 charts this month. And I'm going to start off with one that I think if you don't know how to create this at StockCharts, you probably should. It's pretty cool. It's the monthly core consumer price index, so core CPI. And this is the inflation index that I follow the closest. And what you can do at StockCharts is if you type in $$ CCPI, that will bring up the consumer price index. And if you set the period to monthly, which is all you need to do, because it's a report that comes out once a month. So daily is not going to help you. You want to set this to monthly. And then all I do, besides having this price chart where you can kind of see what's been going on with the CPI each month, is I put in a rate of change and it defaults to 12 periods, which would be 12 months in this case. So it gives you the annual inflation rate. So I think it's pretty cool. So if you put in that $$ CCPI, gives you the consumer price index, you can see it by month. And then at the bottom, you hit that core inflation rate. And this almost 5% annual level is the highest we've seen since the turn of the century. So this is what a lot of folks are talking about as we head into 2022. This higher inflation, you can see the Fed's target, which had previously and still is 2%. We've gotten way above that, moving up to 5%. So as we move into 2022, what kind of impact is inflation going to have on the stock market? And how's that going to impact your trading strategies and so forth? Well, I'm going to talk about that a lot on Saturday. But for now, what I want to do is I just want you to notice a couple of things on this chart. Really important. The first is that you notice in March, April, and May of 2021, excuse me, you see these big jumps, and even into June. These 4 jumps right here were very, very strong. And at the same time, what we do with the CPI is we're getting rid of one month and adding a new month. So When we add December of 2021, that'll be released, I think, on January 12th of 2022. So it'll be released next week. But once December is released, that gets added to this number, and then the prior December gets subtracted. Well, check out, first of all, March, April, and May. You see how we went down 3 times in 3 consecutive months? I believe that the CPI has only gone down 6 times in the last 40 years. 3 of them were back-to-back months during the pandemic, back to back to back. So when you see this spike, March, April, and May in the CPI in 2021, not only were we spiking higher in these 3 readings, but we also were getting rid of these 3 readings. And so that's really important to understand how the CPI is calculated and how it works, because looking forward, when we tack on December and January, the next 2 CPI readings, we're going to be getting rid of these 2 flat readings. And really, February wasn't up that much. So December, January, and February, we're going to be getting rid of and likely going to replace them with much higher readings. So look for this 5% rate of change in the core CPI to increase. We're going to see some headline numbers that are going to scare folks as we move into the next few months and start off 2022. I think that's going to create some problems for some of the growth-oriented industries. So what I wanted to do is, for my other 4 charts, is I wanted to show you 4 industry groups that have been among the 4 worst performers over the last month or so, as we've seen this inflation really start to tick up again. So let's start with software. Now, I've got a 5-year weekly chart here on the top, price chart for software, and then down the bottom, software relative to the S&P 500. You can see clearly that over the last 5 years, software has been a major leader in the market. And so anytime we get a pullback, it starts to set up what I think could be a great opportunity. However, notice that we really struggled from February to May right here on a relative basis with software. And we've also been struggling the last couple of months on a relative basis. And if we go back to that CPI chart, that's when we've seen these spikes in inflation. Inflation cuts into future earnings. And as a result, that cuts valuations on many of these growth areas. So software, I think it's a great area, and I think it's going to be a great area in 2022, but we've got to work our way through these next few inflation reports. So I think we're probably going to see some more weakness in software in the near term, but I believe that's going to set us up for a really strong move later in 2022 in this group. All right, next up, let's move to renewable energy, because renewable energy, very similar. I mean, it hasn't been as strong as software, but it has its periods where it actually just explodes to the upside. You can see during February to May, again, that period where we saw the big spike in inflation, look at what happened to renewable energy last year. And then also in November and December, as inflation was spiking again, you can see renewable energy coming down. So I think that we've got to hold this low over here, which is about 175. We've got a little bit more room, maybe another 10% or so to go on renewable energy, but I would really like to see that low hold. We'll be, needing to keep an eye on that one. Next up, the next 2 I give you are more retail type stocks. And the first one is Footwear. And looking at Footwear has been a pretty steady performer. And again, relative to the S&P 500, it's done pretty well. But it struggled back in this February through May period on a relative basis, and it's doing it again. So this is another area we have to be very careful about as we go through the next, probably next few weeks to perhaps even few months, as inflation will continue to gain steam. And you're going to see it all over media. I mean, the headlines are going to be everywhere. It's going to be scaring the market. That's why I think, the first couple months of this year could be difficult. We'll see. I'll be talking about that more on Saturday. The last group I want to show you is specialty retail. And specialty retail on the weekly chart, if you go back the last 5 years, also has been a pretty good performer. But there's that February to May period, and now again, November, December, where inflation's a problem. And some of these stocks, which happen to be very strong growers, don't like that movement, the movement in inflation. And as a result, we've been seeing some selling in these various areas. So I just gave you 4 industry groups that have been overall pretty strong performers throughout the secular bull market, but they don't like the inflation scare. And knowing that we're going to have higher inflation over the next few months, I believe these are 4 areas that could set up really nicely for later in 2022. All right, it was a pleasure joining you today on your Daily 5. Please remember to go to earningsbeats.com and sign up for that free 30-day trial membership. That will get you a seat to Saturday's Market Vision 2022 event. I really hope to see you on Saturday. Happy trading, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.